Good morning, everyone. This is Joe Scorese, co-host and co-founder of the Creative Bird Strategy podcast, doing a special call in here from Indianapolis, Indiana, with Michael D'Angelo, a colleague of mine at MB Capital Solutions. We're here at the Landlord Expo. Have about 200 real estate investors and landlords here to become educated, working with a team of experts in kind of refining their expertise in property management, in landlording, AI, maintenance, different areas that they're covering, insurance. So, Mike, this is your first time here. Why don't you do a brief introduction of who you are, what you do, and I'll ask some questions because this is your first time here at the Landlord Expo.
Yeah, Mike D'Angelo. Hopefully you can hear me. It's a little bit loud. The room's a little bit crowded, but ultimately, yeah, we're here in Indianapolis. My first time here, beautiful city, at the Landlord Expo. Plenty of investors, landlords here. It's very information focused. Seems like everybody that's here is really focused on trying to take away some important nuggets of information that they can apply to their business. And happy to be here with Joe. Happy to be able to help, lend our services to these investors and landlords that are looking to not only make their business more profitable, but looking to scale and grow their portfolio. And always here, always happy to help.
Mike, knowing what MB Capital does and how it complements somebody such as myself as an asset-based lender, how have the conversations gone with either the very experienced or the very new investor that you've had here? You've talked to probably different levels of expertise. Has there been a common denominator down to all of it when it comes to mind with that question?
Credit is always the most important key. But yeah, there's takeaways for both. So the newer investor, normally having a conversation with them, a lot of them have analysis paralysis, but it seems like the big issue that they have is liquidity. So being able to help them get that extra 50 to 150K that they can leverage in business lines of credit for down payment, for closing costs, or leveraging it for the rehab, it really allows them to have that more be more comfortable to stick their foot in the door because they're not essentially using up all the funds that they have saved up for themselves. They have that but a little bit of a protection blanket there where they can leverage our funds and be able to hold on to theirs in case something were to go wrong, and just to be able to live in this environment.
Do you find it's interesting still that most real estate investors don't know what asset-based lending is and really are not exposed to unsecured business lines of credit at this point? Like, don't you think it's been enough time that's out there? But what do you think is haltering them from doing this? I mean, are they still stuck trying to go to the bank and do full documented loans? Like, what have you found interesting with some of the investors here? Because a lot of these guys own anywhere between 1 and 200 properties, 300 properties.
A lot of them, yes, they're either have their debt to income ratio all bogged down because they've been going to the bank, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, but because that's all they know, and eventually they'll pay off a property and then hold on to that, as a free clear asset, try to move on to the next one. Or most of these guys here, they're buying cash. They're using HELOCs or they're leveraging IRAs. So it's good to be able to help them have other options. Now, it is shocking that as many of them are here, they're not as familiar with asset-based lending. Still teaching people about debt service coverage ratio, teaching them about bridge rehab loans. It's pretty shocking in this day and age. But ultimately, not everybody's heard of it, especially out here in Indiana. A little bit different than the hustle of North Jersey and Philadelphia for sure. So yeah, a lot of great learning opportunities here. And then in regards to some of these more experienced investors, some of the guys that have learned about hard money, they have a portfolio. It's been nice to kind of have that conversation about business lines because that's something that's and it's important for them to realize that they can leverage. Listen, they have money. I know that they have properties. They can tap into those. All I'm offering is another tool for that funding toolbox. something that they can leverage so they don't need to bog down personal credit when completing their rehabs. Just another option.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I can see having conversations with the more experienced investors here is they like the deeper discussion of granulated information. Like I had a really good conversation with a client here that owns 100 doors, and we dived into the very specific questions about refinancing of properties. Like no one's ever asked me these questions. I'm like, listen, the more transactional you are, obviously the more questions come from either mistakes or successes. So thankfully, I've made more successes than mistakes. But he really enjoyed the conversation. He was taking notes, and then for the new investor, like we met the grandfather and the son just a few minutes ago.
Great conversation.
I mean, like
It was a
the
fantastic.
light bulbs were just flying off on like the grandson, 17 years old, and
Correct.
we're giving him some suggestions with the grandfather. They're going to apply. I know they're going to apply that almost immediately. The suggestions we've made in regards to the grandson's credit lines and in regards to what the grandfather can do for his grandson over the next year is, I think, is a game changer.
Share exactly what happened. I
So
think it's a helpful tip for
yeah,
anybody out there. If you have some young ones and you're looking to get them started in the correct path,
yeah.
not even just for real estate, just in general, it's important to be able that they get established correctly. So, Joe, repeat exactly what you said.
So they came up to us, young man, and I thought it was his father, but then he said it was his grandfather. And the young man doesn't have credit. He wants to get into owning properties. I said, listen, you got to take a couple steps here. This is the perfect time. I said, when's your birthday? When do you turn 18? It's like November. I said, okay. Right now, Grandpa, you need to add your grandson onto 3 personal credit cards that you have credit history with. Because by the time the next year comes by, he's going to show that history for almost a year on his credit report. And as long as you're maintaining your credit cards, those 3 credit cards, you don't have to give them the credit card. Just put him on as an additional guarantor,
Authorized user.
authorized user. His credit's going to be 700 plus. He's going to be 18 plus one day, and he's going to be able to buy his first property without any questioning of credit history or any concerns. He's going to have 3 really good credit scores. He's then going to be able to set up unsecured business lines of credit because of the 3 credit lines. Okay. He's going to be able to get asset-based lending options at 18 years old to buy an investment property and partnering with you within your LLC, where right now he could be 49% and you could be 51% because we need to see the grandfather's credit. But come November, whatever his birth date was, we're going to be able to look at that young man and his credit score and put him at 51% and maybe the grandfather at 49%. A game changer for that young man. And the grandfather was like, wow, why didn't anybody ever break this down with us? Like, why didn't we have this conversation?
Most people don't even understand the authorized user. Um, what Joe means in this situation is you can add somebody on and you can allow them to leverage the credit that you have. And they don't even need to receive the card. You can have the card come back to your address so that they never have the ability to spend that or leverage that card. But every time you leverage it, it's going to be you leveraging your own credit. It's going to help build up their credit. So when the time comes, the kid's 18, he'll be established. He'll be able to apply for some loans. So it was fantastic advice, and I do believe it's something that they'll apply going forward.
So let's
be pretty excited.
What about the other gentleman right before him? He went to his bank. They're doing hard inquiries without even really giving him permission. Why are the bank? I mean, like these investors, they know that there's all these options out there. Why do they still want to go to the bank where they get their toaster when they open a bank deposit checking account? Like what? Where's the disconnect? Why are they not embracing this?
Maybe it's familiarity. Maybe it's because they're just used to going to the local bank. I mean, listen, we're in a little bit more of a more rural area in the country here, so I think people are sticking to their guns, what they know best. But I mean, it's a valuable lesson that guy learned. He had a home equity line of credit. He's had it for over 20 years, and he was thinking about getting it renewed when that time comes around. Didn't even talk about, hey, let's renew it. He said, let's set up a conversation. And his banker immediately had a hard inquiry. He complained about the hard inquiry. So what do they do, Joe?
They gave him a hard.
They gave him another inquiry.
They gave him another inquiry like 2 weeks later. That doesn't even. Actually, they never had him sign an authorization, so I don't even
Correct.
know how they got around that without potentially being sued. I mean, this is the one thing about direct private lenders. They do only soft pulls. Brokers do hard pulls, or a correspondent does a hard pull. We're only doing soft pulls in our space to identify the opportunity for you for access to either debt or equity.
You also understand uh, being self-employed, not being W-2 in these situations, and understand how those things affect you as a business owner. How we can best apply that to help you grow.
Well, it's funny. Like Mark came up to me and said, "Oh, you're going to get all kinds of documentation." I'm like Mark, the client, a friend of ours here from that's here, and I'm like, Mark, we need 8 items. It's 8 items. It's your ID, it's your LLC documentation.
Right.
Okay. So it's your bank statement just to show some reserves. Is it a refinance where we need to pay off a letter?
Purchase contract.
Purchase contract, deposit, whatever the case may be, is maybe the lease on the property or leases. If it's a renovation scope of work, and that tying with the scope of work, we'll get to that in a minute. But scope of work, and then we have to order an appraisal, and we get the best appraisers for your deals wherever we need to be. We're licensed in 46 states. I mean, we're going to get the best appraiser that's local to your market. That's important. That makes somebody feel very comfortable. But tying into the scope of work, so I fund them $100,000 on the rehab, right?
Yeah.
They missed 20% on their contingency. Now they need 20 grand. Now they figure, oh, I'll put it on my Home Depot card, and their credit score was 1760. Now suddenly it's a 684. Changes the game on the refinance. If they had opened up an LLC account with you, a line of credit, what would that? How would that would have not impacted their credit? Like why do people not listen?
So, and I've heard it multiple times. They say, "Oh my God, I still have my 0% that I'm going to try to leverage." And listen, those are great. I don't want to say don't leverage what you have on the personal side, but it's important to understand that you can separate the business from the personal, keep it clean. So the business lines that we would be obtaining, they don't report to
Yeah.
Experian, to TransUnion, to Equifax like your normal cards do. Normal cards are going to be associated to the social security number. It's going to be going to those three bureaus. So when you have high utilization, even though you're leveraging it for your business, it's counting against you personally. Well, we can separate that. We can get you some business lines that associate to your EIN as opposed to the social security number.
Mhm.
And what that does is when you have high utilization, it's not going to affect and bog down your personal credit. It's not going to bog down your debt to income ratio. It's going to look a lot more clean for when you come out of that when you come out of that rehab and you're ready to do the refinance so you can bring the project to perm, your credit is pristine. It's ready to go. And if you want to think of it as even more of a contingency plan, you still have all that leverage on the personal side that you could tap into. God forbid something really bad happens and you don't have any access left on the business.
So we've got quite a few different personalities here,
Correct.
So I find the most humble people the most welcome to hearing strategy and discussions with us.
They're trying to learn.
Exactly. It's kind of funny because the people that I feel like that are pushing back, they're not really moving forward or anything. They're just here kind of go through the motions.
They've been coming here for years.
Exactly. Yeah. So, let's talk about the vendors that are here here. You've talked to a few.
I've spoken to most of them.
Most of them. So, what's your thoughts on the vendors that attend the Landlord Expo, and what's their consensus to the attendees? What I mean, are they doing business? I mean, like, well, listen, within the last day, I've done three term sheets for 3 different clients.
Correct.
So, like, have you gotten some feedback from some of the vendors here in regards to the Landlord Expo?
Well, I know that here at the landlord, the expo, they certainly don't want you using their materials in your podcast.
Yeah, they took the banners away from us.
They don't want that.
Okay, whatever. It's okay. Hey, we were just trying to give them a little extra publicity. They don't have to have it, and it's okay. We'll just let you know we're here. We look like we're in a little art room, but we are in the lobby area of the function. Right behind us is a room of almost 200 investors engaged with educational discussions on real estate. Listen, I get it. We how many events have we gone to over the last couple of years? Hundreds.
Yeah.
There's a consistent theme where I think there's a protective shield of whatever there is for a lot of these events. But I do like this event a lot. I mean, I think that people are pretty overall. Out of 200 people, I say 80 or 90% have been welcome to saying hello, welcome to saying good morning.
Absolutely.
I get bewildered when somebody just walks by and keeps their head down and doesn't say anything to me.
That is weird. There is some of that going on, but again, I'm not gonna hold it against anybody.
No, I mean, not everybody's an extrovert like us.
Smaller
We're
town.
just loving people, man. You know what I mean? So, you know, you've been to a couple other events locally or regionally. What what do you feel like you got here that was different than some of the local regional events that you've been going through? Like, is there a different discussion? Is it a more engaging individual? The vendors are different. I mean, these are all national vendors. These are not like local regional vendors. So when you go back and talk to the powers maybe at MB Capital, what is going to be your gut reaction to this event and your thoughts to future endeavors working with Mr. Landlord Expo going forward?
So it's certainly this one's definitely here, all real estate. There's no small business owners here. And I would say that this event less newbies, less people are looking to get started, and more people that are already established. And I believe they're more or less trying to have some sort of continuing and going forward. I think most of these people probably know most of this information that's being presented here today, but they're coming back looking for that reminder, looking to apply things that they didn't apply before, or take away something that they didn't take away. So I definitely consider this to be a much more established investor event as opposed to some of the other ones that I've gone to, where it's more people trying to get their foot in the door, get over analysis paralysis, um, just try to get started.
So that leads me to RIAs and more of the local networking group meetings. Do you find this to be more of like a local networking group meeting? It's not really a RIA. You don't have that flair of RIA here. Like when you go to a RIA meeting, I think it's almost predictable what they're going to do at the RIA meetings. Um,
Well, one thing I will say, I'll give so RIAs they have their purpose. It's good to find a place to start. It's a great opportunity to begin your networking crusades in this investor space. Uh, from a perspective of a vendor, I do like how RIAs allow you to give yourself a plug in the
yeah,
room. I think that's something that's beneficial. Something Mr. Learn. But ultimately, I think something like this is Maria
yeah,
in regards to the amount of people that are showing up here.
yeah. I mean, they're focused. They're here.
The
They're
engagement.
engaged.
Everybody's taking notes. Everyone's taking notes. If you go to Oria, you maybe see 5 people taking notes while you're there, and all these people already know this information. Still taking these notes. So there's definitely a difference between the type of person that's engaging in here. But there's good takeaways from each. I think both of them stand, they have a very practical use and are both very useful.
So I'm gonna state a couple things, and I'd love to get your opinion.
Sure.
Maybe you might have some questions for me. So I did a blog not too long ago on RIAs versus more local networking real estate groups, and I'm finding way more opportunity with really uh, very focused investors at the local investor groups because like the gloves are off. There's 20 to 30 people in a room, you're masterminding, you're strategizing. I mean, you're almost hugging each other on the way out after having because everybody's talking, everybody's involved. Where a RIA, it's a much more controlled atmosphere. You're not even allowed to really speak up, or maybe you got to be very careful on questions you might ask.
You raise your hand like you're at school.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're not in school anymore. I graduated a long time ago. You found out we graduated here. So
I didn't graduate yet, but
no, you're still waiting.
I faked it though.
But you've been going to local events and masterminding. Do you feel like like RIAs are kind of going this way and not not going to be? I don't think they're going to be as relevant probably over the next 2 to 3 years because of YouTube and podcasts and these local investor groups that are clawing at bringing education to the forefront without selling anything at the back of the room. So, what's your thoughts about the sell-a-thon type of environment? Is that kind of gone with the dodo bird?
It's, it's starting to. I think that there will always be a place, but you can always see that it's shrinking.
Yeah.
It's getting smaller and smaller while these other towns are they're getting bigger and bigger. And no one's gonna say it out loud, but some of these people that are major figures in these RIAs
Hmm.
and pretend like the RIAs are the end all be all. I mean, we see them at the other events too.
Yeah.
They don't say it out loud. They don't talk about it to the RIAs, but we see them at the other events. They're the ones that are out there.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that you these other events are starting to really take precedence and be the new main events around.
So we're gonna have a roundtable tonight with the investors here.
I'm
And
looking
you and I
forward.
are gonna, yeah, I look forward to it as well with you. What do you think are some of the subjects that we could throw out on the table that would be beneficial for the attendees or the services that might sit down and rotate with us? What's some thoughts?
How would I do that?
I want to do a shift of mindset. I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys are stuck in their Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac way of thinking, which again, like anything else, that serves a purpose as well. It's a great way to get your foot in the door and start, but I think they need to realize that uh, that these are legitimate businesses and that we need to treat them as such, and that there's certain products that will help boost your business, whether that be business lines or whether it be asset-based lending. Um, they're more efficient and they're more geared towards you as an entrepreneur than some of these banks will be able to take into consideration.
Yeah, I think we're up for a interesting question and answer tonight. It's gonna be from like 8 to 10 o'clock. Maybe we should do a podcast like from the actual thing, but I don't know how noisy it'll be, but it would be really interesting if we
We
could.
could try to film it live. I'm not sure how.
Uh, I know debt service coverage ratio is going to come up, but I think what I want to do is I want to run simulations for people to price things out. And a lot of people, funny enough, they want to be referral partners with us.
That's a big thing. A lot of
Yeah, what type of discussion do you have any discussions on a referral partnership program that you have at MD Capital with anybody here?
Yeah, so one of the benefits that we have at Indian Capital Solutions is that we don't do any advertisements. We build ourselves up through our reputation and through helping clients. So we'll help somebody change their lives by getting them the funding that they need, and they're going to go tell 5 people that they know exactly what we did for them and how we can help out those 5 people, and it spreads from there. It's all word of mouth. So a lot of the guys that I've came in touch here, they're from all over the entire country.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody here's from Indianapolis.
Mhm.
And a lot of them have um, their own networks, their own circles of influence, and they realize that we have a referral program and that they could be the one that shares these types of programs with their with their communities. And that's a lot of the conversations that we had here too, is how they can benefit their communities and help advance their business at the same time.
Yeah, I've talked to several individuals about white label marketing and how they can become either or correspondent, like you're a correspondent of my mark,
Correct.
and you kind of get it. You've been doing this, what, 5+ years now, and you can put a deal together pretty quickly. And I think people want to learn because, yeah, you can take a class here and learn how to evaluate a deal, but do you really understand the pricing to it? Do you understand the logistics to it based on your credit, based on your experience, based on the income and expense of the property, the asset type, the location, what's the criminal activity in that area? There's stats you want to look at. What's the what's the market rent it's Section 8 your market rent? Is market rent Section 8, vice versa? What's that appraisal going to look like based on an after repair value or an as is value or the completed value when you're looking to do a refinance, cash out, and can't, with our industry, there's guidelines, no regulation. So, the discussion is different when it comes to evaluating credit, evaluating cash reserves. Because if it's a cash out, those are your cash reserves. You could basically have $5 in your bank statement, but the cash out is your reserve base. So it's a much different discussion where people's eyes are like popping. So it'll be an interesting discussion tonight when we dive into this. Maybe we could try to get. Is somebody from Turbo Tenant want to come over here and introduce themselves behind us? Why don't you come over? We need a pretty face. Either one is much prettier than us. Let's get a pretty face over here. Either one, we'll take either one. We're okay with it either way. So this young lady, I forgot her name. Come on in the middle here.
Hi, I'm Jess.
Jess, give a brief introduction. You're the major sponsor here. You sponsored our happy hour last night. We had a nice discussion. You're out of Colorado. So give a little background on Turbo Tenant.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for my context, who are we talking
We're just talking to.
You are.
Yeah, we're live. Yeah.
So I'm Jess, Turbo Tenant. A little bit about Turbo Tenant. So we are a landlord software. We work with nearly 800,000 landlords across the U.S., giving them the tools to market their rental properties. So it's usually how people find us. They're trying to get a tenant in as quickly as possible. So we help with all of that. But then also the accounting, managing your tenants, talking to your tenants, doing all of that for one place. So I just started, so I hope I gave a good overview.
No, you did great, but I got to clap. So what kind of questions have you been posed by some of the attendees here?
I think a lot of the questions we get is like, do you help with accounting? What happens when tax season rolls around? We use a lot of different platforms to do all of these things, whether that's Zillow, Rental Manager, or they're using QuickBooks for some things and they're using Excel sheets for others. So it's like a lot of the questions are, how can we do this all in one place? And also another question I get a lot is like, how is this actually free for landlords? It seems like a lot of value and I don't understand how you can make money. The reason is because tenants pay background checks. There's like a premium version of Turbo Tenant that some landlords use. And yeah, it's been a really great show for us. First time that I'm here. Obviously, I just started a month ago. So yeah, it's been really cool to learn from everybody, including you guys.
I appreciate your time. Hey, Mike, you want to come over here for a minute? We need another pretty face. Or come back between here, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We're doing a little podcast live. Okay. And just want to get a quick introduction of who you are and what's your thoughts on the Landlord Expo this year? Now 2 years in a row. Yeah. So what's your thoughts and a little background yourself first, what you do, and then thoughts to the Landlord Expo this past couple of days.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, my name is Mike Todd. I'm with IRA Innovations. We are a self-directed IRA custodian. Most of the national, but now. We are here at Mr. Landlord 2025. I think this is my 12th, 13th convention. To me, it's one of the best educational events in a state investor. So make plans to attend next year. It'll be great.
So what has been the major question with self-directed IRAs?
So probably the most common question we've had is just how easy is it to open an account and transfer funds from a traditional custodian, right, a stock brokerage firm, to a firm like ours, where you can invest in alternative investments. And of course, we explained that the process is very simple. An account's established within about 24 hours, and then funds usually depend on the firm it's coming from, take between 3 and 7 business days.
So my only question I would have, just to kind of cap it off here, what's your thoughts on self-directed IRA leveraging over the next 12 to 24 months? I mean, how significant will it impact the investment space? What's your thoughts on that?
I personally think more and more people are moving towards self-directed IRAs, and part of that I think has to do with the predictability, right? Most people who do self-directed IRAs control the investment, if that makes sense, right? They're buying an investment property, they're making private loans from their IRA, and I think it gives them some comfort saying, hey, I can lend money at 10%, or I can buy this rental property and expect a 8, 9, 10% rate of return on my investment, versus riding out the volatility of the stock market.
Yeah.
And so I think our space is certainly going to grow even more in the next year or two.
Well, Mike, thanks for coming out
Hey
here.
guys, thanks for having me.
Appreciate
Good seeing you again. Yes,
We,
sir.
we got another pretty face coming over here as a national insurance carrier here. I met this gentleman last year. We had a great talk. Why don't you come down in the middle here? Why don't you give a quick introduction of who you are, what you do, and your thoughts on the Landlord Expo this year?
Oh, yeah, the expo is great. So I'm Seth Market with National Estate Insurance Group out of Kansas City. We're a specialty program that only insures real estate investors, and we do it in all 50 states. Pretty much anything as far as if you can rent it, if you purchase it and rent it out from a habitational standpoint, we have markets for that. As far as this has been a great show for us up to now. Of course, it's going to be good all the way through.
Yeah.
But if there's anything we can help you with, that's nreig.com.
So, what has been the most relevant, the common question by a lot of the individuals coming up to your table? You're a premier vendor here, so they come right out, they come right to you. What's been the common denominator question for you right now?
So market volatility around this year, we're seeing such dramatic change in carriers offering things and then not offering things, pulling out. It really is surrounded with, the catastrophe losses that we've seen this year, the fires in California,
Yeah.
Florida, et cetera, the frequency and severity. So there's just a lot of, unease about, why is my rate going up? Am I still going to be able to be insured? What are my options? And so just the uncertainty, I think that's probably what I've been asked about that.
And one last thought. Where do you see the market trending right now? Midwest, South, the South Belt.
Well, from an insurance perspective,
Yeah.
what we're seeing is we're seeing an easing. So the market hardened up really tight on us in the last couple of years. We're now starting to see some easing in that market. So we're expecting carriers to kind of loosen up. We've already got a new contract and that we're going to implement, and some of our other carriers are giving us reduced rate. It's kind of unheard of in this market. That the way that we manage things, the trust that's built with the carriers, that they allow us to do that. So I'm anticipating over the next 24 months for us to see an easing on the rates and for things to start returning to normal.
And your thoughts on asset-based lending, non-QM, because it's become so in the forefront of lending for real estate investors. Probably what, 70-80% of the business right now is non-bank or non-credit union.
Yeah.
So how is your company facilitating that differently than, in a non-QM space versus the regulated space? Are you seeing any differences?
So as far as the lending requirements, we do see some deviation on the lending requirements from the traditional and non-traditional lenders. Traditional lenders are, the big boys, Freddie Mac. We deal with those, but we also work with lenders nationwide. And so we ride alongside them from a consultative standpoint, standardizing their requirements, because there's a lot of people that are kind of in and out, private lenders, things of that nature that don't always adhere. So, we're there to provide that sounding board for them, because obviously we want to do business. So, just standardizing the requirements is a big deal. From what we see, I can't say that I see it a lot of other things because I just don't have exposure there. We're dealing with them from one specific angle, but that's pretty much what we're seeing now, is trying to standardize that.
That's some great stuff. I appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, Mike, we got a great perspective from the key sponsors here on the lobby area. There's other sponsors in the other area, but these are the premier sponsors. And all of these sponsors have been here for many years. So there's a commitment here and a consistency here. So there's obviously real live opportunities to working with these individuals that attend this event. So I don't think we're going to take this much farther, because it's going to get real loud here when people get after lunchtime. Be like the herd of the bulls. But some final thoughts to your time here at the Landlord Expo, and any final thoughts and overall on the industry for yourself as a financier for real estate investors.
Yeah, so I think that this is a really good event from what I've seen so far. Some of the topics that have been covered, I think, have been fantastic topics. I'm not sure why they don't have Joe and myself up there speaking.
I'm a legend in my own mind.
Yeah, I know, I know. I think I would be a little bit better if we were presenting.
It's all good.
Okay,
It's
we'll
fine.
have our round
It's
table.
fine. It's
Um,
fine.
But you know,
Small potatoes,
Small
like Meyer
potatoes.
Lansky said in the Godfather, Hyman Roth.
I'm just happy to be here and happy to help bring some creative strategies, some outside the box ways of coming up with how to get deals done.
Yeah.
That's about it.
My take is I feel like this event this year is better than last year. I have had better conversations of strategy and finance with individuals here this year than the last year. So there's definitely has been a shift of improvement of the attendee. I am leading my entire business toward networking investor groups away from RIAs because I need to identify the right fish in the right lakes. And when I mean that, if you're going to mine a room, you've got to mine it where the opportunity is going to bear a return on your investment of your time. So we flew out here. We're spending time here Saturday. Got in here Wednesday night. We're hyper focused. We're going to be part of the process here. We want to meet every single person that opportunity. Okay, we want to walk away with the best return. So as a networker, you need to work the room. You need to be able to say hello to people. If they don't say hello back, it's fine. Just keep saying good morning and hello to people. Shake people's hands. Don't ignore them. Engage.
They have a name tag. Say their name.
Say their name.
It is the most important tool. It is the key to getting to someone to look at you.
It's an icebreaker. So, I mean, so again, an event like this has had people come here 14, 15, 20. I know some people that have been sponsoring this event 30 years. It's amazing if you think about that. So I really appreciate the opportunity that the Landlord Expo has allowed us to sponsor this event now our second year here. I do plan on sponsoring it again next year with MB Capital. And we, our podcast is every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Creative Birth Strategies podcast. We provide an educational subject every single Sunday. We also have it on our website. We're at over 100 podcasts. We do one-on-one interviews as well. So we'll do those accordingly with the right real estate professionals and services. I want to, listen. This past week we had over 3,500 views and downloads to our podcast. That's amazing. And
All Russian bots.
yeah. Conspiracy continues. There's a lot of conspiracies within this podcast, but I can say one thing. I look forward to Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. and having that 60 minutes of potentially giving back and hopefully providing the opportunity to individuals to expand and scale their business and work together or collaborate on events together. It's just a great experience. It's very warming. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in here on this podcast, this special edition here at the Landlord Expo in Indianapolis.
When is the next Landlord Expo? Do you know?
It's next year around the same time. Yeah.
Listen, keep your eye. If you're an investor or you're a landlord and you want to continue to grow, this is a nationwide event.
They travel. They go to different places. Like
all over.
One year they're in St. Louis. One year they're in Nashville. Last year they were in Columbus, Ohio. So I don't know where it's going to be next year.
Try to make it out. That way, when you walk by, Joe can pick on you. Tease you as you go. As you walk. Yeah, a little foot sweep.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity to come out there and learn. So I appreciate you having me on today, and I appreciate the opportunity. So thank you.
So guys, enjoy your day. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. on the Creative Birth Strategies podcast. The great educational subject. Maybe we'll even get Mike to show up and wake up on Sunday morning to
make it the sun.
Share his love and information and insight. So everybody have a great Friday. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you on the other side of another great opportunity to discuss. Thanks, and we'll be closing this out. Be well.